The tray was locked from the other side. I was trapped. With hundreds of titles to play, I was stuck with this one. I couldn't get the grimace out of my head. The more I played, the more I felt his pain. Max Payne. I felt him taking over. I was becoming him.
And who could have guessed that mirrors are more fun than television?
Oh man, I freaking love Remedy, and to think that this obsession started with me almost quitting Alan Wake 2 is wild.
Jesus, I swear if they do that one more time, I'm gonna uninstall this game.
But I am trying. I was simply not following the game at first, and I quit. Until I drifted into my brother's PS4 library when I saw Control. And you know, I had ignored it a million times already. It's just another one of those weird
Always something weird about it.
weird games that my brother likes. But this time, I tried it. And it just brought me so much joy to destroy things and just breaking things. It's as simple as that. It brought me so much joy, and I had to get it on PC with the pretty graphics, play at a high frame rate. And that's when I realized, oh! These are the same folks who made Max Payne. I need to play everything they've ever made now and just catch up. I was just like that reporter who didn't recognize Mike Shinoda.
In a band called Linkin Park. She didn't know that. This is a great reaction.
I don't know why. I just didn't connect the dots that Remedy made Max Payne. So I got started with Death Rally, and you know, it was good, it was cute fun, but I went on to Max Payne's, of course, which are so good. I played them on the Xbox first because Max Payne 1 actually isn't available on Steam in my country, and I really just bought them together, 1 and 2. I liked them so much, though, that I also got them physical, with Max Payne 2 being brand new and sealed. I did it, of course, to play on the original Xbox as well. And, of course, Max Payne 2 is available on Steam, so I got that on PC, and I played that again.
But the chick I just fingered and the men in jumpsuits, they got into a serious firefight.
And that's because these games are just full of surprises, little Easter eggs here and there, fun action, an exciting story, interesting environments and levels, with a rich world being built in the background, and the NPC dialogues are so cool.
John Woo.
Come on. Okay, John Woo.
All right.
The TVs you find have TV shows on them that mirror the story slightly or just entertain and build the world around you. It's very rich. Max Payne himself goes through some awful events, and Sam Lake, the lead writer for Remedy, dives deep into his psyche, into trippy nightmare sequences, and by the time Max Payne 2 comes around, you're experiencing full-on psychosis. It's just such a rich and deep world and game. It's one of my favorite game series of all time, so you can imagine my excitement when Tommy Love, my mate from up in New Jersey, gifted me Max Payne 1 on Steam, because I can't receive gifts, I just can't buy the damn game. So I own it now. And it was more pain to the max, and I was loving it. And that they got that fancy schmancy RTX remix remaster that this guy's making, and it just shows how timeless this game is. Oh look, it's a buco. It may be difficult to tell from most of their games, but Remedy is from Finland.
Pulla, Karjalan piirakka.
And Finland is a country that I know for its outdoors culture, hence the puukko, which goes double because I'm a knife maker too. I know Finland also for their sauna, for simohaja, and for its bouncy, almost rhythmic language. I also know that it's a relatively small country, population-wise, with only 5 million or so. So, to give you a sense of scale, Remedy's cultural impact for their country around the world is huge, because Max Payne alone has sold more copies than there are people in Finland. Perkele! But after the masterpieces that are the Max Paynes came Alan Wake and Quantum Break, which I believe are their two weakest games, but they're still good games. It's like Lionel Messi's 2 worst seasons playing a soccer football, running around in shorts chasing a ball. Yeah, for him, his 2 worst seasons are weak. The first Alan Wake has a lot of Remedy character. Rewarding exploration, it's full of surprises too, little Easter eggs, interactivity, and the story is very good.
There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true.
Coming off the back of writing a story about a character who goes through unspeakably horrible events in Max Payne, Sam Lake wrote a story about an author, Alan Wake, who sees the consequences of his writing manifest in reality right in front of him. He gets to become the character in the story. He gets to see the consequences of what happens to the characters he writes about. It's great stuff, and the story pushes the game forward and keeps it exciting. But once I was done with it, I felt like I had had enough. Unlike Max Payne, which I can keep replaying endlessly. And I think that's because Alan Wake's action gameplay didn't keep me engaged in the same way. On low difficulty, it wasn't engaging enough, perhaps too easy, but on high difficulty, I wasn't having as much fun. Combat felt a bit like a chore. Now, that did change with American Nightmare, which had me nodding my head like, yep, that's what I'm talking about, because it had really fun weapons. There was so much weapon diversity that just made the difficult combat more fun. But that's a much shorter experience, and due to the nature of how that story progresses, more than a couple of playthroughs is going to feel pretty repetitive. Thankfully, it does have a wave survival mode for just kicking back and enjoying the action, and that really is entertaining for a while.
You alone remain on the battlefield, champion of light.
And next up came Quantum Break, which is interesting, because you can see where Remedy wanted to take the direction of their games by involving a lot of live action stuff, but you could also see that they weren't quite there yet, because it also came at the expense of their quirkiness. There is no other game studio out there that makes games like Remedy. They entertain your craving for action and destruction without losing touch with the humanity of the world and game and story that they're putting in front of you. They venture into the ridiculous, but they stimulate your thinking, and all this insane stuff somehow makes a lot of sense. They dive deep into dark, serious themes at times, but they manage to have fun while doing so. And you have fun as a player, but they keep it fun too, like almost lighthearted. Ultimately, the most exciting thing about Remedy games is that they're full of surprises, always keeping you guessing and curious, and Quantum Break didn't quite get there. I think it took itself way too seriously and didn't have enough fun with itself, which echoed into all aspects of its design as a game. But thankfully, shortly after, Remedy came back and took control of the situation, introducing a new heroine, Jesse Faden, and what would ultimately become the Remedy Expanded Universe, which is, I guess you could say, Remedy 2.0 beyond this point. Going through Jesse Faden's story and the characters she meets and the destruction she causes, it was very clear that Remedy got their style back, and then some. Back to the Max Paynes. Those games put a lot of effort into making the aftermath of firefights look fought in. Cartridge casings don't cull, there's blood splatter everywhere, destroyed props, bodies. It looks like some serious business went down there, like you did this. And boy, Control takes that and cranks it up to 1,000 with the destruction. Scenes look exactly as they should after you fight a paranormal enemy with guns, explosions, physics powers. The amount of destruction here is insane. The fact that they made it work on 8th gen consoles too is out of this world, but also the fact that they pushed technological boundaries on the PC version as one of the first games to use ray tracing and machine learning based video upscaling. It took until the PS5 Pro for us to see these things on console. Well, the upscaling part. Ray tracing we kinda saw on PS5 and Series X, but I digress. You know, they went after both. They included everyone. They took care of the lowest common denominator and the most high-end PCs, and which is another reason why I love Remedy. They don't leave anyone behind. I wish I could start getting into plot points for Control as I tell you about how awesome it is technically, but I think that's one of those games that the less you know, the more you'll enjoy discovering things. The only downside to Control, in my opinion, is that it's more arcadey than Remedy's usual. There's hit markers, health bars, boss fights where you shoot the glowy thing a bunch of times to defeat the boss, but by no means is that a major or a detriment at all to the experience. It's just something I don't love. But overall, the game's outstanding and it is a must play. Which leads me to Alan Wake 2. This game is packed with Easter eggs from all of Remedy's history, and I'm so glad I held off on finishing it until I played all their games and had them fresh in my head. Again, this game is full of surprises, full of mysteries. You're gonna need those really important 6 inches that you're packing between your ears. It's really awesome, especially if you pay attention, to see this story come together. Why everything is the way it is, why these characters are this weird, and all the questions you could have answer themselves. This story is super human, super weird, super engaging, super fun.
Not safe. Already too late.
The game makes you feel how you're supposed to feel. Whether it's running in the pitch black woods, being chased by humanoid monsters possessed by a dark presence, whether you're using your guns to fight back, and by the way, Saga and Alan handle their firearms correctly, and the shooting is very punchy, producing an excellent spectacle when you fire your weapon. The shooting here is simple, but it's good. It's very good, and it's a lot of fun, and there's a whole DLC. There's a whole chapter in the Night Springs DLC. It's pretty much just shooting, just shoot everything, kill these monster things, and it's fun. It's fun fighting these things. But when the action slows down and you're traversing through the dark presence in Alan Wake's dark place, you do feel like an author with writer's block when you're trying to figure out how to make a scene work for the story that Alan is writing. You're going to carefully look for clues to solve stash puzzles, to put together Saga's detective board thing. There's just a lot of thinking to do in this game, and it makes you feel how you're supposed to feel in every situation that you're put in. I've seen playthroughs of people who think that they're criticizing the game's opening part, for example, saying, oh, something's off, this is too unusual, this would alert someone. But the fact that you're getting alerted is actually how you're supposed to feel at that moment. You know, it sounds weird if you say trust the process for a video game, but do trust the process with Alan Wake 2. Trust that what the game is making you feel is how you should feel. On top of that, not only does it have a really engaging gameplay style, not only is it very correct in every sense, in my opinion, in terms of gameplay, but it also includes an amazing integration with music. They did such a good job creating unique musical pieces for this game. It's a proper playlist that you can listen to, and the visuals here, the graphics, they're incredible. Again, Remedy used the best tech for the graphical presentation for each platform they brought to the game. Consoles are some of the best looking games on consoles, PC is some of the best looking games on PC. I get it now, man. It took me a while, but I get it. And my girlfriend has also slowly dipped her toes into gaming because she found Alan Wake 2 so captivating. She didn't think that a medium could tell stories in the same way that video games do. And of course, Alan Wake 2 is an excellent example on how to tell a story. And she's getting into games now. She plays Cyberpunk on GeForce Now, which I think is nuts. But she's also bugging me that she wants us to go to Finland because of the Finnish charm that the game spreads to its players. She wants to see a town kind of like watery. And I do too. I already wanted to go to Finland because as a knife maker, there's just a lot of rich cutlery culture in Finland. But Alan Wake 2 just gave me another awesome reason to get in touch with that Finnish culture, that Finnish touch that they brought to those games. And I'm obsessed with Remedy. I can't wait for Control 2. Can't wait for the remakes of Max Payne. I'm obsessed. And you should be obsessed too, because they're just so good. I think they're a gem in our industry, and we should protect them at all costs. I can't wait to experience what the future holds for Remedy. I want to be there to experience it
and to witness it, and I will take you guys with me so that we can enjoy it together. But until then, we'll be playing other video games like Stalker 2, which is coming out soon. And I want to send a big thank you to the CIA, who have been putting the fun in the funding of this channel. You guys are awesome. You are the wind beneath the wings of this project, this channel, of the fun we have here. So thank you, and goodbye.